Now, okay. פרק ט"ז, פסוק י"א. לא,
פרק
סליחה,
ט"ו.
ט"ו י"א. שאול ואבדון נגד השם. Sheol, we know that Sheol is one of the names of מדורי גיהינם, and so too is Avadon. נגד השם are in front of Hashem. Av כי ליבות בני אדם, and more so the hearts of people. So there's a few hidushim here in this pasuk. First of all, the Gaon says that Shlomo HaMelech is creating a Kal Vachomer from a perspective of distance. What does that mean? And how hidden something can be. He says the Sheol and the Avadon, both of them, we know it's like the depth of the earth. They're very, 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 you can't even see it. And there HaKadosh Baruch Hu can see what is going on. Even though no individual can see that deep, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can see. So if HaKadosh Baruch Hu can see that deep, Kal Vachomer, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu can see what happens in the heart of an individual. Meaning, even though the heart is hidden, yes, and only man sees what's in his heart and knows what's in his heart, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu can see where nobody can see, then Kal Vachomer that he can see where someone can see. An interesting Kal Vachomer of Shlomo HaMelech, comparing the depth of earth to the heart. But that's with a perspective of distance. Another layer to that Hidush, person, and it's interesting, the Gaon brings that again in the Hidush Shlomo HaMelech. A person may think, we know that Sheol and Avadon both are the places that hold the most level of Tum'ah in the entire creation. And Sheol is terrible, and Avadon even worse. So we may think HaKadosh Baruch Hu that has pure eyes, Kulo Kadosh, Kulo Tahor, he doesn't look at Sheol and at Avadon. He doesn't pay attention to Tum'ah. And if that's the case, an individual that is himself a Rasha and full of impurities may think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have Hashgacha on him. So says Shlomo HaMelech, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees and looks at those the two most impure levels of creation, Sheol and Avadon, then he can definitely, okay, and he will look at an individual that is tameh by his actions. And that's Av kilibot bnei Adam. More so, kol sheken, to the hearts of individuals. So the Gaon explains in a little bit more detail. We know that we have 7 מדורי גיהינם. We have 7 levels of Gehinna. The first six are called Sheol. The seventh, which differentiates itself by a very specific particularity that we will see soon, is different than the first six, and is called Avadon. Says the Gaon, this is representing the Yamin and the small. Midat adin kasha, midat adin rafia. Zachar and Nekeva. How is that Zachar and Nekeva? We know that Zeir Anpin, yes, is made of 6 Sefirot. Chesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. Yes, that's in Kedusha. In the Achor, in the back, in the level of Tuma and Klipa, we have those 6 levels of Medure Geinam that are called Sheol. The seventh is a standalone, and it's called Avadon in the world of Tuma. But in the Olam HaKedusha, it's called the Nukva. It's called the Malchut. The Malchut. So essentially, we have 6 of them that do communicate and do interact. And we have a 7th that's completely clogged. Just like the 6 Sefirot, they have their own essence and they pass from one another. That's the 6 Sefirot. So too the Sheol. However, when it comes to the Midat HaMalchut, right, or to the Avadon, they don't have an essence of their own. And if if the Malchut doesn't have an essence of its own, it has nothing, they might say. And if it has nothing, the emptiness of that nothing creates what is called the Avadon, which is the deepest and darkest level of Tumah, when there's nothing. As long as you have a little bit of something, you have something, yes? So there's an in, there's an out. When there is nothing within you, the person, is total emptiness, that's total darkness. And that's the Zachar and Nekeva. The Zachar is the one that gives, yes, the one that interacts. The Nekeva only receives, doesn't give nothing. That's the Malchut, as we know in the Sirot, yes. So the 6 Medure Geinam are going to get the 6 Sirot, going to get the Zachar. They give and they take. And usually the Zachar represent also a little bit of Chasadim by absolute in the Panim. But in the Achor, even in the Achor, there's a way out. Where the Malchut and the Nekeva, there's no way out. It is what it is. And if there's no way out, then it makes it, when it comes to dinim, it makes it the hardest and the harshest din, which is the difference between the Sheol and the Avadon. Okay. Yes. So now, so after we have exposed and explained that duality that we're talking about, the 6 and 1, Ducha and Nukva, Yamin and Small. Yes. This is also what is called Yetzer Tov and Yetzer Hara, meaning which one is mitgaber on which. The 6 are Yetzer Tov, the 7th is Yetzer Hara. And if that's the case, which one has to be dominant? The Yetzer Tov. נכון? So this is why that Chachamim say that when a woman controls two uh, is in her home, she brings midatadim, she brings destruction. Same thing The Chachamim say that if the leader of a country is a lady, it's a siman that Midat Adin is on that nation. Because when the Malchut takes over, yes, then lo alenu, it's a revelation of Midat Adin. That's that doesn't mean she is Yetzirah. Yeah, but that's where the Yetzirah, the light of the Yetzirah. And why is it called Ra? Because it the Sarim HaKadoshim explain, and you can find it in the Zohar Kadosh, in the Idra Rabbah, Daf Kuf Lamed Vav Amud Bet. Okay, there the Mefarshim bring Beshem the Lechem Machane Yehuda. Okay, that the there are 270 orot, okay, that come from the pipe of a Getvura, and 270 is a Gematria Ra, because they are fueled by the Shem Elokim in all the Sfirot. So when there is Idgabrut, when there is an empowerment of the Shem Elokim throughout, yes, the Sefirot, okay, so that brings out the Midat Adin, and that is called Gulgalta Kashya, a hard Gulgolet, a hard head, a hard head. This is why women can be hard-headed. That's the shoresh of it. So now with this, says the Gaon, we can understand what the Gemara says. The Gemara in Masechet Brachot says like this: Tzadikim Yetzeratov Shoftan. The Tzadikim, who is their judge, the Yetzeratov. Reshaim Yetzerara Shoftan. The Reshaim, the Yetzerara Shoftan. Benonim Ze veze Shoftan. The middle, yes, the medium, they're being tested, they're being judged by both of them. What does that mean? That means that Lema'ase, we are made of two kochot. Each one of us is made of two koch. The Ducha and the Nukva, the Zachar and the Nekeva. Yes? So we need to be able to be so good that even the Yetzerat Ra ends up being good. And that's Ze v'Ze Shoftan. That's Yetzerat Tov Shulchan, or Yetzerat Ra Shoftan. When you're tzaddik, and you use your Yetzerat Ra also to do mitzvot, so now your Yetzerat Ra becomes Tov. Yes? So what just happened? By empowering the Zachar, by empowering the Ducha, the Zeir Anpin, yes, now the Nukva becomes part of the Zeir Anpin, it also becomes good. And that's the definition of a tzaddik. The Rasha, the opposite. The Rasha is empowering the Nukva, is empowering the Midat Sfirat HaMalchut, the Midat Adin. Now, because the Rasha is all about the Ra, now even the Yetzerat Tov that's in him is going to use to do Averot. Okay? That's Yetzerat Shoftan. The Benonim, they half here, half there. So sometimes the Yetzerat Ra overrules the Yetzerat Tov, sometimes the other way around, and therefore they are pulled in two directions, and they are being judged by the two different poles. Okay. The same thing applies, says the Gaon, based on that pasuk, also b'midat ha'geinam, in the Geinam. In the Geinam, you have the 6 medure Geinam, the first 6, yes, that lechaora are the ones that everybody, if one wants to choose, that's where he wants to go, and we'll see why. But nobody should should go to the Avadon, to the seventh one. Just like we have to be makbir the Yetzer Tov on the Yetzer Hara. Yes? So essentially, when the person does good, yes, so whatever he has to pay down the road and go through after 120 years, yes, it will be in those levels, one of the 6 levels. But if the person becomes a Rasha to the point that even his good becomes bad, then the person, yes, taps into the Avadon instead of the Sheol, and that's where he belongs. Now, what is the nafkamina between the two? The Sheol, Chachamim tell us in Tikkunei HaZohar, Sheol, milashon she'ela. She'ela is a question. It says this is what the Chachamim tell us, that Korach va'adato every week, okay, they go in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they ask HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when are you taking, when are they leaving Gehinam? They reside in Sheol. That's Sheolah. That's Sheol. Sheol is the question without an answer. It's the doubt without clarity. It's being powerless, stuck, paralyzed, without any sign of light, knowing that one day there will be light. So imagine the impatience and the frustration, yes, that 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 Gehinam is. The flip side of the light is building, is using your shelot for the Torah, is focusing on the light, focusing on the growth, focusing on developing, focusing on evolving. That lines up, that gives us a little bit more flavor with with yesterday's shiur that we discussed. Avadon, that's Sheolah. Avadon, milashon ibud. Ibud is lost. Ibud means there is no takana. There's no out. Sheol has a door. When Mashiach will come, that door will open, and whoever is in Sheol will get out. Betchiyat hametim. However, whoever goes to Avadon, milashon ibud, they go and they never get out. Ken? So the Zachar is the Chesed. Sheol, as difficult as it is, has Chesed to it, because when Mashiach comes, the people in Sheol will leave Sheol. Avadon, which is there's no exit to it. It's like the Malchut, the Midat Adin, and Malazot Mishama. There's nowhere to get out from. Says the Gaon Mivilna. Interestingly enough, the heart of the person, yes, represents also these two parts. And I'll explain. The heart is split into two ventricles. And that's me adding a little bit on the gown. One pocket brings blood to the lungs. Another pocket, that's the right ventricle. The left pocket, the left ventricle, sends oxidized blood to the entire body. if you look at the morphology of the blood, of the heart, you will see that the right side, when it's inside the body, the right side of the heart, its membrane, its muscle is very thin. But if you look at the left side, it's very thick. One sends blood to the entire body, so it works very, very hard. It carries everything, so it has a thick membrane, a thick layer. The right one that only sends to the heart, that doesn't need to pump so much, yes, because it only sends to the lungs, oxygenized blood to the lungs. So it has a thin layer. So we have a thick layer and we have a thin layer. Now, within the heart, we have like pockets that open and closes. Yes, in both of them. Those pockets have one purpose, to make sure that when the blood goes from the artery, okay, inside the blood and back into the body, inside the heart, and then back to the system, the blood goes in one direction and cannot go in the other direction. So it stops the blood from going back up. Okay? Okay. Now, if we look, we have the right and we have the left. What the right sends to where? To the lungs. The lungs is what? Breathing. Breathing is the neshama. The ruhaniyut is the yetzer hatov. And interestingly enough, only the right side of the blood feeds blood only to the lungs and no other parts of the body. And how do we know? How did the man Akadosh Baruch Hu give the neshama to Adam? By blowing in his nose. Where did the air go? Into the lungs. The lungs represent the tov. The lungs represent the neshama. And by miracle, it's the right side of the heart that actually feeds blood that's only to that organ. The left part of the blood, of the heart, yes, sends blood to the entire body. The body represents olam hazeh, gashmiyut, yetzer hara, and that's the left. So says the Gaon Mivilna, yes, we have two parts of the heart. One is the right and one is the left. One is yetzer tov and one is yetzer hara. So says the Gaon, now we have to make sure that the right side overrules the left side. What does that mean? Like this. The more you're spiritual and the more, yes, your right side of the blood, of the heart, will work in a spiritual way. And be careful, one side has no connection with the other inside the heart. They're completely split. Zero connection between the two. But by 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 being spiritual, by being ruchani, by being tov, yes, you empower the right side of the blood, of the heart. Now say Chachamim, the tzaddikim, even the left becomes tov. Yes, by doing mitzvot and maasim tovim, now your left side of the blood of the heart also becomes tov. But if Chalila is the other way around, yes, then now the left side influences the right side. The left side that is mitgaber with the blood that goes into the body, which is essentially the blood that is the thickest and the less pure, starts influencing the right side. How incredible did HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it is that HaKadosh Baruch Hu give us in our heart the secret of Avodat Hashem, of Tzaddik Verasha, Yamin V'Smol, Tov Vera. It's all inside the actual morphology of the heart. So says Shlomo HaMelech, back to the Pasuk, Sheol va'avadon, like the dark side of the right and the dark side of the left, Neged Hashem, they're both in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And if you understand that, Av kilibot bnei Adam, then also your heart is being meaning. Know that the way your heart behaves is the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu sees you. He sees all of it. So if you have HaKadosh Baruch Hu in front of you, then automatically your heart, physically and spiritually, says the Gaon, will be affected letova or the other way around. This is a clear-cut segula for the health of the heart, or chalila the other way around. And depending on which artery and which valve is working or is not working, a person can know if the left is mitgaber or the right is mitgaber in his actions. Any questions? This is a masterpiece on the heart. Oh Hashem. I guess you understood why I didn't want to say it yesterday, yes? It's a piece of its own. Tov. Ezrat Hashem, we'll pause here. Good.
Thank you. Super.
Oh Hashem.
Okay.